All right, guys, today's video is doing the main food plot health evaluation. I am jumping on this earlier than I did last year because in the previous video from a year ago, or maybe a little less, actually no, yeah, it would be less, I waited till like March to apply boron, and I said I want to critique my system and add boron in February. So already we have warning signs here. Boron is already becoming dangerously low in here again, and I intend to add some today. So I'm not going to mess around with this. I want these plants perked up. They will handle cold better. However, we do have an extended heat wave that should start today. It's supposed to get up in the 50s, and then they're showing even 70 by sometime next week possibly. So this food plot is going to experience a mini boom if it's extended, or if it stays this way until March. You know, it might be a fairly sizable explosion of plants. There's other areas right here where my iron and clay and cowpeas lasted so much longer than expected that it killed off my mix. And there's literally a strip, 90% of it's dead. So I'm going to take the opportunity to resow this again, and with the warm spell, this should perk right up and hopefully fill in here the best it can. I'm not expecting, you know, some type of miracle, because there are some other weeds that are establishing in here, and I don't want to use spray right now. So it probably won't be as full looking as last year because weather has influenced my outcome. But down in here, section 3 still looks really strong. There's a pocket or two in here that's not filled in as strong as I'd like it to be. And I also still have another groundhog that has moved in, and I will be anxiously hunting him down. So I got a lot of things to do out here in the main plot. Section 1 has some fantastic growing areas this year, which is a sign of improvement, especially back here. That was one of the weaker zones, was in that dip to the corner, and it's actually growing pretty good this year. It's not like this, but it is growing pretty good. Now, let's explain something here real quick before I move on. Now that we've pretty much established here that boron is a problem. And I don't think I need to dump any P and K in here. It's just the lack of boron is really starting to slow these guys down. So here we have another issue, right? What is the deal with all of these dead plants? One of the things I mentioned, or kind of hinted at earlier, was it actually growed so quickly, and the heat wave lasted longer than expected, that some of this reached the stem stage. I'm not joking. It actually made it to the stemming out stage. And when a harsh cold snap swooped in out of nowhere, it killed off a lot of the stuff that had overgrown. But at the same time, this created an insulating blanket. And some of these dead species here have resuckered, or in the process of sending out some new shoots. So just because it's dead now doesn't mean it's actually completely dead. Once this heat wave kicks in, this yellowing effect will go away. I also see a very large fire ant mound right here. I've noticed now that fire ants are encompassing the farm. I've been fighting them for a while, and now they're in the plot. So we have fire ants in here. Don't like that one bit. So I'll try to see what I can do to try to knock them out. Fire ants love soft soil, and they are exploding all over this plot because this soil is way softer than any of the surrounding soil out here. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of a battle. But at least areas that were protected at the time are doing really good, except for the boron shortage, which has reduced the green color So I'm going to try to get that fixed. There's other parts of the food plot that may need a strong dose of trace minerals. I'm talking not necessarily azmarite, but probably some sulfur and manganese. And then I intend to do my soil test sometime this month, and I will do a video on that to give you a few pointers, because there are mistakes that can be made, and I would have been one of them if I hadn't done some research on it. All right, guys, so let's just go ahead and cut the video off here, but at least the food plot here is showing some stunning results. Matter of fact, this is ahead of last year. If you want to go back and review the old videos, I've got more tonnage in here now than at any point last year at this stage. Matter of fact, I would say 20 times the amount, because last time it was literally hugging the ground because it didn't really want to grow that well. Now nutrition's stronger. You can see how much better the tonnage is being produced, and this heat wave is really going to show a massive green up in here and reset my plot. All right, guys, hit that like and subscribe. I hope you like these videos. If you have a suggestion that maybe you would like to see something explained, researched, I am willing to do that, and I can bring you some results on that. But here I am focusing on nutrition heavily. My does need it for the new babies that are forming, and my fawn buck and fawn doe that's here need it to develop as well. All right, guys, see you later. All right, guys, this is part 2 of nutrition for the main plot. And in my previous video, I talked about changing and fine-tuning some of my system a bit better. And this year I had a goal of adding boron in February instead of waiting for March. So that's 4 to 6 weeks of additional time that the boron will be out. Boron boost roots, and I've got plenty of videos on them if you wish to go back and review them. For you new people, real quick, the purple color, let me find one that stands out a bit more. This sunlight might not be doing too good. Here we go. Let me get this one. That purple color that's in the stems and in the leaves is boron shortage. So that's a trace mineral that is getting low. Usually I treat my plot twice a year. Although as my soil has improved, I actually dropped that from 3 times a year. So I'm actually doing a little bit better on the boron now that organic matter is building up. That's about one of the ways you can prolong boron. Other than that, I just have to treat it as necessary, and it's rearing its ugly head in here again. So I've got enough to treat the whole plot here and the island. So the island's going to also get some of this when I'm done. I want to reiterate this again, and I'll probably do this for any boron video. Go extremely light. If you throw a handful of this size out right in front of this bucket, you're going to kill everything in its path. So make sure you stay light. I generally do not broadcast more than 3 pounds per acre. That is very, very light. So a 50-pound bag will treat a lot of territory. You can treat at least 25 acres if you do a 2-pound rate. You know, a 3-pound rate, that gets you pretty close to maybe 15 or 6, no, about 20 acres or so or less. So just keep that in mind. A 50-pound bag will treat a whole lot of territory. Do not treat this like normal fertilizer. So we're going to start down here. One thing I've noticed is the boron seems to be performing slightly better down here where the trace minerals have been added versus, you know, these spots on the hill. But the farther up you go, the worse the soil gets. So that's also playing a part of it. And there's more rocks in the ground the higher up you go, which reduces the amount of nutrients you can have in the same area, say down here in this bottom. So there's more soil in the bottom than there is in the top. And there's no telling how far down these rocks go. So I'm going to start treating, and I'm just basically putting a dusting out, not going crazy with this stuff. And this area will respond very rapidly. I'm timing this with a heat wave. We have at least 2 weeks, if not longer, of a projected well above normal temperature rate. I need this food plot to preform, recover, or reset, depending on whatever wording you want to use. This will amp up my nutrition because boron is a root stimulator. It will cause these roots to really take off and grow even more. So if you're having trouble with boron or getting plants to grow with fertilizer, boron is a key driver to that. See, like right here, this is about the area I stopped with trace minerals, and we have this low density area here. I can see all the way down through the ground, rocks exposed, so lower tonnage rates. And this will get treated, and eventually within a few days it'll be covering everything up. So while I'm at it, I'll be taking rocks out of here. Anything I can do to improve the quality of tonnage. I can still feel rocks when I'm walking across this. There's just so many rocks in this soil, it's ridiculous. So I'll go ahead and drop them off for now, but hey, less rocks, right? Normally this time of year, I'm picking rocks out of the food plot, and the tonnage is so thick this year, it's really hard to see it unless you're in one of these weak pockets. And if I'm going to focus on weak pockets, there's a good chance next year that may not necessarily be a weak pocket. So let's head out this way. Boron can be a little tricky to broadcast if you do the powdered form. There is a liquid version. I would recommend that. It is a lot easier to set out versus this powder form. So I have to be careful when I'm using the powder here not to go overboard. And I know some of you have now started treating your plots with this and are getting amazing results compared to what you used to have. And you're pretty much following the same result pattern that I am. For years and years, I tried to get growth that would even replicate what you're seeing here, and this ground refused to do it. But the more studying I did, the better off the plant started becoming, and sure enough, you got what you see today. Let's see here real quick. We have a much heavier color purple look, or purple tint, popping up in these plants. And right now, this is some of the most stressful time on a deer's life. And when your plants are struggling with nutrition, it only makes it that much worse for deer. So ever since I started doing these treatments, I've noticed bigger, thicker deer in here. one of the side effects of it. All right, let me treat this corner here. The wind's in my face, so I'm kind of having to use that to my advantage for now. So if I wanted to broadcast over here, I actually start here when I throw it, and then it coats back this way. And if you think you missed a spot and are not sure, you're better off not to go back and do it. Because if you double or triple coat something, you're going to kill your plants off. See, up here we have much weaker growth. This is definitely not doing nearly as good here. Now the wind has changed directions and is blowing up the hill. So I scatter down here and it coats all the way up. Use the wind to your advantage, saves you time, and helps prevent from overdoing it. Just sneak out this way a little bit. But I'm not going to show treating the whole plot here, but it will get treated today. So I'm going to be well ahead of last year. Tonnage wise now, I'm already smoking last year, but I want healthy tonnage, not something that's nutrient deficient. I do have some decent looking turnips here. Not bad. That will sprout off new stuff if it survives. Another rock. Since I'm so close to the edge here, let's get rid of him. There we go. So this is pretty much what I'm going to do, and then I'll bring you another update on this. So let me do a panoramic here real quick, and pay attention to the color. So we have a lot of dead material. This happened because it grew too quickly, and then really harsh cold snap set in, bit it back. It recovered mostly and then got bit back really hard when we had single digits. It was 3, 4, and 6 degrees here. And then the following nights, it was 11, 12, and 14, and 16 degrees. So very, very cold. When plants are nutrient deficient, they do not do near as well in really cold temperatures. Your death rates will increase in poor soil. So let's start here at the corner. We have low growth to pretty decent pockets here. Not terribly bad. I'll take this over what it used to do. So we have yellowing with darker green pockets. Further down you go, the less yellowing I see. We have a pretty good pocket of green in there. Really good pocket of green up through here. And then another patch of yellow and good green out through here with yellow mixed all throughout. There's no area there that's really not yellow free. But all that yellow stuff is dead anyway, and it's going to have new sprouts in no time at all. There's several parts of the food plot that need reseeding. Yes, that's right. I'm trying to do my best to make a very good carpet in here and have as few bald spots as necessary. Reseeding will happen most likely tomorrow. And these are ugly weeds that I'll probably just trim these off because there's still seed in these things. And I'm gonna reduce those seed heads before they cause a lot of damage in the spring. I will also pick up whatever rocks I find as part of my soil improvement project, just like last year, except it's way harder to find them now unless I step on them. But that's a good thing. Tonnage can help bury these rocks over time. I'm generating soil at a much faster pace. Matter of fact, you could probably generate within 4 years, you could probably generate about 4 to 5 inches of soil in that same time frame if you have really thick, healthy crops. The poor soil, nowhere near that pace, and it takes time to build that process up. So once your food plots maintain a pretty good standard, barring like drought or something like that, generally you're going to rapidly introduce soil to your food plots. This myth, it takes 100 years to make an inch of soil, is completely bogus. You can do this in short order when you're doing crop rotations with growing and rotting cycles. And this ground is a perfect example of organic matter being increased, tonnage being increased year after year. And I can't wait to see what my spring and summer crops right here look like, because this deer vetch absolutely exploded on a consistent growth basis of 5 feet deep. That's what I like to see. All right, guys, so I'm going to end the video here so I don't bore you to death, but keep it extremely light. Boron is dangerous. In high dosage, it becomes toxic to plants. It also can become toxic to you. So do not breathe that stuff in if you can prevent it. If you have to, if you think you need to wear a mask, wear a mask. But in low trace amounts in your body is actually extremely beneficial to your health, deer's health, and plant health. So we got to find that balance, and mine just happens to be 3 pounds per acre. Yours might be 1 pound, maybe 2 pound. I rarely see anybody needing 4. So usually 1 to 3 will do plenty this year. I'm also going to be doing another project, just to keep you in the loop here. My boss has seen some of these videos now, and he wants me to help him establish a food plot system. He's wanting to do the better soil. His oldest son took the largest deer of his life, and now he's hooked and wants to do a better job. So I'm going to try to help him sometime in April and May, and we'll see how that goes. I don't know if he wants me to film that or not. I may see if he wants to. If not, then I'll just help him privately with that, and I'll let you know how it goes. So again, boron, light doses, be cautious, and it works great when you're hitting that sweet spot, guys. You all have a fantastic day.